To another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. And let's get right to it. So, the 87 Lakers were considered one of the greatest teams of all time. Jerry West is GM, Riley as head coach, Magic orchestrating the offense. Then you still had Kareem. But then you also had Worthy, Byron, AC, Michael Cooper, they had guys like Billy Thompson, Kurt Rambis, had Adrian Branch, guy by the name of Mike Smirk, Smrek. And so they made a midseason trade for Michael Thompson, in which they had to give up Frank Brickowski, who was on that roster. Okay. So with all of this going together, they were 65-17. Okay. So the Lakers went 65-17. Ironically, they lost their first game to Houston. The first game of the year. Then they won like 10 straight to climb to 10-1. So the 87 Lakers were rolling. Magic was averaging almost 24 points, 12 assists per game, 6.1 rebounds per game. Okay. And then which brings me to February 4th, 1987, against the Sacramento Kings. Okay. The Kings, who ended up going 29-53 in 1987, had Reggie Theus and Otis Thorpe as their top scorers. Reggie Theus was averaging 20.3 points per game, and nearly 9 assists per game. Otis Thorpe was 19 points per game and 11 rebounds per game. But still, the Kings were only 29-53. Because outside of those two, they really didn't have much. So 7 Lakers averaged almost 10 plus points per game in 1987, okay? Which brings me to February 4th, 1987, okay? Going into that game, the Kings had lost 19 straight to the Lakers. Okay? They lost 19 straight. And they had lost 30 straight games at the Great Western Forum. Okay? And so this game started out as any other Lakers game. But it was very unique and very unusual for how the first quarter unfolded. Okay. Okay, so that was the game where the Lakers led the Kings by a score of 29-0 in the first quarter. In case you didn't hear me again. That was the game where the Lakers led the Kings 29-0 in the first quarter. Okay. And let me break it down for you. Not only did they out-rebound the Kings in that first quarter, they forced 7 turnovers. Magic had 15 assists in the first 15 minutes and 17 assists overall for the game. Byron Scott had 17 of his 21 points in the first quarter, and AC Green had 14 points in the first quarter. Pat Riley said after the game, it was bizarre. I've been in the NBA 20 years and never seen anything like that. We just got it going. Then we just started to go better. After 6-7 minutes, you could sense that something was happening. Their shots started to get short. We blocked shots. There were turnovers. It was extraordinary. There was a lot of effort, a lot of good play, and a hell of a lot of luck. Okay. So, the Kings were already down 16-0. I think the Kings were already down 16-0 with 3:47 gone in the first quarter. And so Phil Johnson called timeout. But with a little over 3.5 minutes gone in the game, Chick Hearns already said this game is in the refrigerator. Chick Hearn knew the game was over. Okay. So the lead eventually got to 29-0, as I said earlier. Okay. And so when the lead got to 29-0, Derek Smith got fouled by AC Green. Okay. And Derek Smith hit 2 free throws. Derek Smith played for the Kings. Okay. Derek Smith got fouled by AC Green. And Derek Smith hit 2 free throws. And the crowd in the Great Western Forum gave the Kings a standing ovation. Believe it or not, they gave the Kings a standing ovation because they finally scored. Okay. And so when the league kept building and building and building, the Forum fans actually began cheering for the Kings to score a basket because it was just way too easy. Because the crowd sensed that the game was just way too easy for the Lakers. Okay. And so the crowd started rooting for the Kings to score a basket. So when Derek Smith hit 2 free throws, the Forum gave a standing ovation. The Forum gave a standing ovation. And then a short time later, Richard Theus hit 2 free throws with 31 seconds left in the first quarter. And the Sacramento Kings overall hit 32 of 33 from the free throw line that night. But they only shot 38% from the field. And so Derek Smith said it felt good. It's a little uneasy to think that we might not score in the first quarter. When you're down 10-0 to the Lakers, you know it's getting bad. When it's 16-0, you know it's real bad. When it's 22-0, you're critical, and they might as well pull the plug. It don't take no Einstein to figure out when it's 27-0. So, a small note to this: when it was 27-0, a technical foul was called on Eddie Johnson. Okay, Eddie Johnson got a technical, and Byron Scott hit 2 free throws to make it 29-0. Okay, so it don't take no Einstein to figure out when it's 27-0, and Kurt Rambis is hitting 20-foot jumpers, and they're running plays for him. You're in trouble. So you know when the Lakers are running plays for Kurt Rambis, it's going bad for you. Yeah, it's going bad for you. So, overall, the score at the end of the first quarter was Los Angeles 40 and the Kings 4. In case you didn't hear me again, Los Angeles 40, Sacramento 4. Look it up. The Kings, of course, scored 4 points in the first quarter, and they were 0 for 18 in the first quarter on field goals. 0 for 18 on field goals in the first quarter. Set a new record back then in 1987 for the fewest points in the first quarter by any team since the introduction of the 24-second shot clock back in 1954. And they are the third team in NBA history to score only 4 points in a single quarter. The Fort Wayne Pistons did it in 1987, and the Buffalo Braves of 1972 did it. So, score was 40-4 after the first quarter. The Kings actually scored 31 points in the second quarter. And the score at halftime was 71-35. Lakers. So, Pat Riley had decided that the game was safely in hand. So, at the start of the second half, he pulled all the starters and just let the reserves play out the second half. Okay. And reserves outscored the Kings bench 61-23. Okay. And Billy Thompson scored 10 points. Adrian Branch scored 12 points. Mike Smirk scored 8 points. Kurt Rambis scored 11 points. Cooper had 9. Frank Brickowski had 7 shortly before he was traded for Michael Thompson. And Wes Matthews had 4. Okay. So when you have all of this happen in the first quarter and throughout the game, that all added up to a 128-92 butt stomping of the Sacramento Kings. The final score was 128-92. And that's what it was like to play for Sacramento back in the day. And that's how just good and that's how great the Lakers were back in those days, okay? That's it, and that's all for Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. God bless you all. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out.
TunePocket.com